Okay, with this module, we're going to continue our discussion topic of human resource management. Last time we focused on staffing, and this time we're going to focus on the selection process, so bringing somebody into the organization. Now, overall, the selection process, is it something that sounds easy? And the obvious answer is no. This is a very big decision that you're making for your department and for your company and organization overall, and it's probably one of the hardest things about the recruitment process. Just remembering that you have no more valuable asset than the people that you're bringing into the organization, so you want to try and get this right the first time. Now, when we start candidate interviews for positions that we have available, the importance of this can not be understated, and I can't emphasize this enough, how important it is when you start doing this interview piece. A general rule of thumb and a good thing to remember is the 80-20 rule. I know we talked about that during the quality lecture. A little different here, just remembering, let the candidate speak about 80% of the time, and you as the interviewer speak about 20% of the time. Just making sure that you're being careful too about, there's some things you can't ask in an interview, and we'll get into that later, but things like, are you married, do you have children, generally try to stay away from asking during an interview. I'm not going to play this video within the content of this lecture, but please make sure to go back and view it. It's got some great information on job interviewing techniques. What we're going to talk about is the structured interview. And one thing, that you need to think about when you start going out to interview for positions, and that if you are interviewing people for positions, one thing you need to expect them to do is really go out and research the company. What is their mission, vision, and values? What do they believe in? What is their focus? What is their drive? Are you and the company going to be compatible with each other? So make sure that this is going to be a good fit for you as a person seeking employment, and expect this out of people that you are interviewing, because this is going to really indicate to you as the interviewer looking for somebody to hire, that the people you're interviewing are willing to be a part of this company. Everyone has their standard application form that we go through. It's going to detail out your education, training, prior compensation levels, prior work, and responsibilities. Just be careful here, particularly with the application, and a lot of this is shored up on the resume. But be careful here of some things that you cannot ask. And I would really encourage you, I'm going to give you a short list, but I would really encourage you, if you find yourself in this position, to do a little research, because there are several things out there that you're not allowed to ask for legal reasons when you are interviewing. So some things like an applicant's, and particularly on the application form, you cannot ask race, color, sex, disability, religion. You cannot ask about their national origin, their marital status, like we said, or if they have children. But usually during the interview process, your applicants will kind of reveal this information to you just in conversation. Just be careful that you're not asking particular questions like that. When we start scheduling an interview, be careful when we're leaving messages regarding scheduling an interview. We don't want to leave the wrong message or the wrong impression. Things can be misinterpreted. It's best to try and actually get a person on the phone. And then remember too, if you leave a message, others may hear that message. So you just want to be careful the details that you leave on a message when you're starting to set up the interview process. So important thing to remember here with your review process of the applicant's application for the position, you are going to have regulators come in, and they'll often check, last 6 months to a year for anyone that was hired into the organization if one, those references were listed, and two, if you as the hiring manager or hiring individual actually called to check on those references. So you want to make sure that you've got all your information in order, make sure that you're getting the references, checking them, and making sure nothing's going on there. And there are laws that dictate what you can give out as a reference. So if you are called to provide a reference for some prior employee that's applying for a position in a different organization, you can't really vent or unload on the person calling you. You're really only limited to say if that person did indeed work for you, what their dates of employment were, and if you consider them rehirable or not. Other than that, try to stay away from any additional information that you're giving out. And this can be a serious legal issue and lead you into a lot of liability because if the employee that's applying that had put you down as a reference finds out that you had really disparaged them to their potential hire and they didn't get the job because of it, you can be held liable for that person not getting a job. So you want to make sure you just stick to the facts, noting whether they work there, their dates of employment, and if they are rehirable or not. Make sure to click out on this link. Goes a little bit more into detail on interview questions to avoid. I gave you a short list, but want to encourage you to go look at that. So a couple things here. It's and like we said at the beginning and in the module concerning staffing, I can't undersell it or overstate it enough how important it is to find an individual or a hiree that's going to be compatible and a good fit with your organization. This is just paramount to the success of your organization overall. So you want to be very selective, very choosy on who you bring into your team. You know, we don't necessarily want somebody who knows all the answers, and particularly from a personal standpoint, I would much rather have someone who is, you know, humble, willing to learn than thinks they know all the answers. So just a couple things to be aware of and be cautious about. Now, for my previous employers, we did a lot of team interviews, which I really enjoyed. One-on-one interviews can be a little bit more intimidating, in my opinion. Team interviews are really, really good if they're used appropriately, because they can provide you that kind of level of counsel that you need to make sure, you know, did we all get the same feeling about this person? How do we feel they're going to work in our department? But it works as a morale booster for those that are already employed by you, those already working in your department, because it really shows that they are valued as an employee and that their opinions are valued. So don't underestimate the value of a team interview. Now I'll leave you with, there's one slide remaining after this, a short video on tips for interviews, so please go watch it. But I'll leave you here with kind of a word of warning. Particularly if you look under the Human Resource Department bullet point, talking about informing employees that they either received the job or they didn't. Probably should call the employee that you want to offer the job to first and let them know, just in case they found something in the meantime and decline your offer. The last thing you would want to do is come down to two candidates. Call the one first that you are not offering the job to and let them know that you're going in a different direction, and then call the one that you are offering the job to and then they decline, and then you have to do kind of a little backtracking. So just kind of a little tip, a little word of warning for you out there. I will go ahead and scroll through to the video. I'm not going to play it again within the context of this lecture, but it is accessible to you through your PowerPoint slides. So please make sure to go out and view it and let me know if you have any questions.